Okay. Hi. Good morning to all of you. It's a real pleasure to be here and to share my experiences with you. As you told, I've been working on the smart cities and mobility with the Portuguese government, municipalities, mainly three of them, Lisbon, Oporto, and Cascais. It has been I'd say 2 very intensive years working with startups, with private partners, with telecoms companies. Uh, we have been working, trying to developing also new products, and it's been very interesting and different from our traditional background on consulting, trying to develop this. Before I start, just some notes. Well, I will try. My English is not that perfect, so if you don't understand something, please let me know. Second note: Deloitte has established 2 years ago 4 super priorities for consulting, for their consulting worldwide. One of them is smart cities, and the other is mobility. We strongly believe that these two will be areas of future and will have a growth, a continuous growth, and will have an impact either in the citizens and the economy. In terms of my presentation, I would like here to share with you what I've been doing the opinions and the experience that I got with the clients where I've been working. And I will start with to discuss with you if smart cities is really a myth or a reality, if it's here to stay or if it's just something that will will disappear. I will present our framework. We have organized smart cities a framework with 6 domains, the way that we structure and see how we can deploy it to reality. And finally, I will share with you Cascais. It's a city in Portugal, smart city ecosystem, what you have been doing there with all the players. Just some numbers. It's quite impressive numbers that currently the market value for smart cities solutions and services is around 40 billion USD and is expected to grow 2.5 times until 2025. So it's quite impressive growth, it's quite impressive values. And the way that we can have a share on this, either you as service companies also, either you as citizens. So we have to see and to define how we can also be part of this growth of this market. Just to share with you, in my opinion, what I think are the main forces thriving and pushing the smart cities, and that will make smart cities a reality. For starting, the fast-growing urbanization. Cities continue to grow. Citizens continue to move from rural to the cities. It's expected that around 80-85% of population will live on cities. Cities will continue to grow, and the pressure on cities, pressure on centers will continue. Green pressure, the carbon emissions, ozone layers, lack of resources like water, like energy, also a big pressure on resources. Protection and security. Each day is more valuable and more critical to have protection and security on data, on persons, and so on. Exponential innovation. I don't have to speak a lot because the previous speaker spoke a lot on this. Each day there is a new startup, there is a new idea. They are pushing it forward. They are pushing, they are recommending, they are putting present some other solutions that you can implement. Governance and regulation. Each time regulation is more strict, is more detailed. Governance. We, as citizens, put pressure on the government to know where our taxes and our money is being applied. Government has to have transparency on where he spends the money, what he does with the public resources. So I think these five forces will really push the reality and will really make the impact to implement and to flourish the smart cities. In summary, I think smart cities try to answer three major goals. One, more practical, I would say, quality of life that impacts on each of one of us as a citizen to improve our quality of life, either reducing the time that we spend on the traffic, either reducing the time that we spend waiting for a bus or for a train. Uh, when I leave my office, my phone knows that if I take 20 minutes to get to my home, it can connect with my home and turn on the oven, turn on the heat, and so on. So try to do to improve quality of life of citizens on a more seamless way and in all aspects of life. I spoke on mobility, I spoke on the home, uh, on the use of service of public services that you want. Well, focus on improving the quality of life of citizens. Sustainability, also a major driver, either on reduction of the and the optimization of the resource consumptions, water reduction, energy uh, energy reduction, improving self-sustainable and self-producing systems of energy, so that it can be quite autonomous. And finally, economic prosperity, creating more richness, more employment, and our experience and from data that we collected is that when we have an innovation environment, an innovation ecosystem, this will give new ideas, new ways of work, and finally will make companies more efficient, and they will get more, they will grow and get more jobs. So these three major goals. Just some quick numbers, and from my experience, uh, I've seen and I've been in contact with several startups and more companies that have new ideas and have smart cities solutions, and normally the impact is high. The business case and the payback are very interesting. Because if you think nowadays you have, well, technology is quite available, the costs of technology are quite controllable. So if you manage to have a solution, normally, well, the costs of implementing it are controllable. And the impact nowadays is huge because you can have a small or you can have a smart solution and you can implement it and you can spread it all over the municipality or the country or so on. So you can control the costs and or the investment, and the benefits can be huge. So the impact, the business case on the implementation of smart city solutions is very interesting. So now how can we move the smart cities vision to reality? We organized the smart cities on six dimensions. We developed this framework with these six dimensions: the smart living, the smart governance, smart people, the smart mobility, smart economy, and smart energy and environment. And then we got, well, it's an organization. We got this division with several dimensions. First, on smart living, we have stuff like the smart security, the home managed by devices, self-sustainable buildings. In smart governance, we have digital public services, so that you want to have to apply to a license, you have to apply to a service, you can do it remotely. You don't need to go to the public offices to take care. Service centralization, smart public infrastructure on the way that you manage the infrastructures. On smart people, education digitalization, digital citizenship, centralized health information. It's also important. On smart mobility, and smart mobility, I think it has been, of these 6 dimensions, the dimension where governments and municipalities have been investing more. Perhaps it's the one that has more impact, direct impact on the short term on citizens because of traffic and congestion and carbon emissions. And here you have solutions like integrated transports and mobility as a service and mobility platforms, traffic management, autonomous vehicles that is being tested. On smart economy, you have smart logistics or urban logistics. You have smart tourism destination. It's also a new thing that we are developing. Smart payments, and on smart energy and environment, maybe the one that started earlier, uh, adopting these new solutions on smart energy efficiency, water management, and waste management. Just quickly to share some examples, and I know for each cases, real cases where we have implemented, and I've seen them, on smart environment, automating water. You can have sensors with algorithms that can help you manage the flow and when you need to water, so you can reduce overwatering and cut usage. Just-in-time waste collection. It's a case that we implemented it in Portugal. You put sensors on the garbages, and that sensors give information to the truck collectors so that they know when to go there. So you will optimize the schedules and the routes of the trucks every day. So it's quite an impact. Smart metering, smart education, either mixing blended learning online and traditional class for the students. Adaptive counseling, using algorithms, you can adapt a profile for a specific student. You can adapt a profile and define what contents and what subjects you should give them. On smart mobility, as I mentioned, I think maybe the core on the smart city, you have mobility as a service. For instance, mobility as a service in Portugal, we are trying to implement this, and the idea is you can pay a fixed price. Imagine 100 euros, and that entitles you to X minutes of trains, X minutes of buses, X minutes of bikes, X rides. So according to your profile, you can pay as a service according to your profile. On-demand car sharing, here on the shared economy, you have the example of Uber and others. Dynamic pricing, that according to the time of the day, location, carbon emissions, and so on, you will adjust the price. And the main objective of this is to impact on the behavior of the citizen, of the consumer, so that he can change his behavior, and that can have an impact on the resources. Then you have self-driving cars, smart parking, and so on. Smart living with smart homes, where you may connect your mobile with your home devices. your fridge, your oven, and so on. So you can also manage them, and they are not there static. Wearables, predictive analytics, and so on. Smart economy. I think this will be a breakthrough. You, and here, the outcome-based regulation is not only having policies, but you can evaluate performance and results of those policies. You can measure if a municipality policy is issued, and if you then can manage what is impacting, what is the impact on those resources, you can evaluate the purpose and the result of that policy. Innovation labs, creating a good ecosystem so that citizens, that companies can go and approach and say what are their challenges, what are the difficulties, so that the companies there can prepare themselves and offer solutions. Open talent economy. On smart security, predictive policing, using algorithms to predict where there will be problems with security so that you can act proactively. Cybersecurity, crowdsourcing, and so on. So, some thoughts on this. First, as you know, we live in a more complex, regulated, and demanding environment. We, as citizens, are more demanding on services, on results, on what is doing or what is done with our taxes. So I think this will really force the development of more agile and real-time solutions because demand is there and is pushing. Another thought is that, in my opinion, technology to improve and optimize the service is there. And as the former speakers, technology is there. You have to pick the technology, you have to assemble that technology and transform it in service. But it's not more a question of breakthroughs in technology. You see the autonomous cars, the technology is there. You have to test it, you have to prepare regulation, you have to prepare it, but it's not a breakthrough on technology because it already exists. And I think, and this has been of my, it's not, of course, proven, but from my experience with the contacts that I've been having with the government and municipalities, there is a great potential to capture with a better resource planning, in specific in the public resource planning, the public resources, and with an integrated management between citizens, city hall, municipalities, entities, infrastructure management. So if you can have all these stakeholders together and managing it continuously, we can have, in fact, a great potential on resources, on economies. First part, and now I would like to share with you this Cascais case. Cascais is it's a city around Lisbon. Cascais has defined itself as a living lab. So it has defined as a strategy. They want to be a living lab. They want to foster and create an environment so that startups, centers of innovation, to go there, establish there, and then offer services from there to the rest of the world. And of course, is able to and gives the possibility to test and to experiment. So they really want to be a living lab. And as Deloitte, we are a partner of them and are implementing this smart city ecosystem in there and to leverage it outside. I will show you a quick video of the Vice Deputy of Cascais. He's also the Chief Digital Officer. he made that video for a meeting, Deloitte meeting that we had a couple of months ago, and I think he also explains very well this journey. Hope it, I don't know if I have to. No. Oops. Sorry. Okay. It's not that smart. Sorry.
Hello, New York. My name is Miguel Pincluz. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Cascais, a small town on the other side of the ocean, your Atlantic Ocean. I would like to start by thanking John and Mark, their visit last month to this beautiful town. We like to be early adopters and we like to be pioneers. That's why we are investing a lot in smart cities.
Cascais is a pioneer smart city and mobility ecosystem with several implemented proven solutions. Its key stakeholders are on board the strategic smart city transformation, and Deloitte has unique knowledge and capabilities able to deliver its vision.
As you may know, we are a living lab for new technologies, new solutions, and we like to co-invest with our partners. And Deloitte is one of the most important partners that we have nowadays in this strategy.
80% of European cities have less than 250,000 inhabitants, and Cascais Smart City and Mobility Solutions can be easily scalable to more than 96% of European cities. Cascais Smart Ecosystem has unique conditions to be addressed as a reference global living lab, with clear benefits for citizens, companies, municipality, and the country itself.
I'm looking forward to see you again here in next October in our global event to discuss with us all the big things that we are now implementing here in Cascais.
Yeah, that's true. In Cascais, we have very good weather, as you seen it. Sorry. Okay, just a quick wrap up. O- Cascais has been implemented and is being, as he told, is pioneer in implementing and testing solutions. So, if a small startup has an idea, you can go with them and they will get the space so that they test it. They have a annual contest. I don't know if you say contest with Vodafone uh, to evaluate several startups. So annually they promote that, and then the winner, they finance it. They give him some money to test it, and they can give it a public building. They can give them a street. They can give them well what needed to test that solution. Here are a couple of them that they have been implementing. Some are on pilot, some are more mature. Uh, Having a bit of a deep dive on the mobility, they are being pioneer in Portugal with the mobility system. They have implemented Mobi Cascais, that is behind the mobility, also Portuguese mobility platform. That mobility platform is on other major cities, and they are moving to create a real mobility as a service. Nowadays, they have all public transportation, parking that's also public, and some private operators connected to that. and they are trying to connect all private operators with the public and the parking all together, and then connect it with the Lisbon city, so that because people travel daily commuting from Cascais to 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 Lisbon, and you have a card, it's a Mobi Cascais card, and with that card you can manage, reserve, and pay. You can have a tariff adjusted to your profile, and it's expected that citizens may save around 10%. Just to highlight some of the smart solutions that Cascais has been implementing that I think are differentiators. The first one, it's very important. They have created a Cascais ID to allow one single login. What this allows is in every municipality service, every either on the city hall, either on the utility company that's also public, and so on, to have one single contact. So I will know the history and what has been the the services that I've been paying to the citizens. So I will have a unified, centralized information on the services that I render to the citizens. They implemented a single contact solution so that you have a single number to call if you have some questions, if you want to ask for services. It's centralized. Gamification. They implemented recently city points to promote participation, awards, and recognition. So, for instance, if you do some social work, you will get points, and then you can redeem those points on public services instead of paying a tax for a service that you need. You only pay half the tax, or you get it faster. Participatory budget, most voted in Europe. They will inform or propose what are the major actions or major investments they want, and people will vote on it. They did it this last November, and they have a participation higher than the civil votes. So people participate more on the budget than they do on voting on the mayor. Fixed Cascais, they have an app for urban interventions. So if you are in a road and you see there's a wall, there's a lightning that doesn't work, you can go there and you can report it, and you can get points on that also. Cascais Control Center. They are building, it's not yet ready, a digital control center to integrate security, surveillance, mobility, lightning to control all those verticals. Mobi Cascais, that I've already talked about. Smart waste metering and dynamic routing, as presented on the video. Smart lighting, intelligent pavement to 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 know where the cars are going and where there is congestion, and to also to produce energy. Another another thing that I think they are well, quite innovating. They are implementing this digital command center to orchestrate all these dimensions on the ecosystem. So data that is on the smart living can affect the smart, for instance, if there is an accident on a street, I know that there is an accident, so I can divert the traffic to another street. So I can inform the police to go there, close that road, and put the traffic on the other. I can advise the fireman. I can advise the insurance company. I can advise. I can manage and act on events. I can have a perspective, a global integrated perspective of the services I render to the citizens. It's not that a municipality gives one service, the company gives us the service, the fire or the policeman have another type of service. All services can be and are integrated. Just to finish, this has been a like Cascais journey. They have defined it as an innovation incubator and pioneer on testing and implementing smart city solutions. They have been able to mobilize both public and private stakeholders. For instance, as you've seen, the vice deputy is is engaged on this. We are also engaged with him. Other private stakeholders are also engaged and partnering with him, and has gathered people with the right capabilities. And of course, Cascais has a suitable territory. It's not that big as Lisbon or Porto or the big cities. Uh, it's a nice territory to test and adapt innovative solutions. Some numbers. 80% of the urban license already come online channels. You don't have to go there. Citizens may save around 10% on mobility. There's been a 15 cost reduction on waste collections with truck routes optimization, 20% cost reduction on public lighting and expected to grow. So some final thoughts. To develop, in fact, a smart city, uh, you need to have a clear strategy. You need to define according to your profile of cities, of citizens, uh, what do you want to be and where do you want to play as a smart city. And you have to define an ecosystem and manage and dynamize that ecosystem. It's not possible for the municipality to do it alone. It's not possible for the private players to do it alone. So the secret is to create an ecosystem and manage that ecosystem. And I've seen the results, and in it's my opinion. If you are able to implement a proper smart city ecosystem, it will really bring benefits to the citizens, companies, and to the entire city. And that's it. I don't know if you have questions. I will be at the Deloitte booth for all day. I can then talk on more detail and on these cases and others that I have. Okay, thanks.